Hi, I'm Reverend Kimberly Meadows, a member of the pastoral staff of the First Baptist Church of North Brentwood, and a member of this great team of facilitators of our Life Application Bible Study class, which is held on Wednesdays at 6:45 p.m. On November 1st, we continued our new theme, A Name Like No Other, and we focused on the majesty of God's name. The point was that God is majestic and exalted by everything he does. Majestic means sovereign power, authority, or greatness of splendor, and exalted means to be proclaimed as great or magnified. God created everything, and the majesty of his glory is all around us and within us. The name of the Lord represents his character and attributes. Yahweh, which is the name by which God chose to reveal himself to humanity, means creator and sustainer. With that in mind, what has the Lord done for you lately? That was one of the questions in our small group discussions, and the responses were things like he provides protection, reasonable portions of health and strength, safety, the breath of life, shelter, and someone even said a new car. Amen. And then we discussed what hinders us from worshiping God, privately or publicly. And we got answers like embarrassment, distractions, fear, lack of time, or the social or political environment in which we're in. Can you relate to any of that? Well, in Psalm 138, King David teaches us the meaning of praise and worship, which means to reflect and to rejoice about God's way and word. Together, they display the great glory of God. Psalm 138 is King David's reflection of what God did for him by saving him when he was being threatened by enemies, and for God's faithful love in answering his prayers for help. We were reminded in the text that God's name is above all names, and his throne surpasses all others. Our private exaltation of God for his promises should become a public call for others to worship him too. God desires for his glory to be made known among all peoples. God's great work is fulfilled in making the name of Christ known to all people. We are called to reflect on the Lord's goodness and to rejoice about it, to praise and to worship. Most people think praise and worship is something for the music ministry or someone else to lead, but we are leaders of praise and worship too, and there are many ways it can be done. Giving thanks is important. It's not about feelings, it's about actions. And when we humble ourselves before God, we acknowledge his rightful exaltation. He sits high and looks low. He is the one from whom all blessings flow. He's the light of life, our provider and protector, the King of Kings, and so much more. So how can we exalt God in everyday life? We can consider, reflect on God's display of his majesty all around us. Write down these things and share about his blessings with others. We can hear, create a playlist, and listen to songs that draw our attention to God. We can worship privately and publicly. Privately, give praise for God's majestic name, and then share a devotional with friends or family members that's focused on God's majesty. We can publicly join with our church in worship of God. We can open our Bibles or our hymnals and start compiling a list of names that we see for God. You'll be surprised at the many beautiful names that capture his essence, that encourage your faith in him and enrich your prayers. Names like Ancient of Days, Joy of My Soul, Hope of Heaven, Gentle Redeemer, My Strength and My Song. I hope you're able to join us next week when we continue the theme of A Name Like No Other, and our topic will be the love expressed in God's name. We will focus on verses in Psalm 103. May God continue to richly bless you as you call on his name.